which I can link
Yeah,
a
post it in
little bit
chat, mate.
later.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I know you don't have a lot of time, so this might be the final question we get time for. It's just the
Hmm.
is the one I wanted to slip in there
Yeah.
because it's something that that I feel quite strongly about, and obviously, typical retail traders maybe don't have a good understanding. But as you mentioned, uh, I think it's quite naive to think that we're pumping game stock. We're going to really put the pressure on the big banks and the big boys. We're sending them a message, But if you look at a massive investment fund like BlackRock, they got like 9 million GameStop shares or something ridiculous. Like they're making a huge amount of profit from this. It's not like we're putting any pressure on anyone. We're actually helping them more than anything. So, would it be right to suggest that? I mean, from what I can see, it just looks like good old Reddit or good old retail trader is being used as a scapegoat for these massive pump and dumps across the board, which most likely aren't necessarily initiated by anyone in retail. Most likely small groups of bigger players. So like AMC, COS, GME, all these things that went absolutely nuts for a short period. Typical P&Ds, which we always have, pump and dumps. It just feels like we're being used as a scapegoat. We're an easy target. Reddit sounds like something nefarious to the boomers out there, and it makes sense. Same thing back in 2010. Like you mentioned, there was a flash crash in the American indices market that had a flow on to other markets as well. And there was a bedroom trader in UK who had a small spoofing algo running, and he was basically blamed for the whole thing, which once again, I think is absolutely ridiculous. But it's an easy target. We're scapegoats. It's Reddit this time. Last time it was Navinda Singh in UK. I mean, am I making sense? Does that sound right? That Reddit's not really. Maybe Reddit fueled the fire, but there's big players in the background that actually initiated all this stuff and maybe even helped by running campaigns on these social media platforms. And that's really what gave an easy target for these poor retail traders like Reddit, like Navinda Singh. They're just a scapegoat for the bigger players to really profit in these situations that are definitely premeditated. Would you agree with any of that, or do you think I'm sort of being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, maybe?
You know, it's kind of a hard question to answer. I would say if you look at the flows from Robinhood into GameStop before the big like squeeze event happened, retail traders or the Robinhood traders were 50-50 buy and sell. So the balance is actually even. The crash that happened was a result of institutional hedging, right? Like I mentioned before. And retail traders, they kind of fall for each other's I'll say gullibility, right? So when they see like Melvin Capital losing a bunch of money, they stuck it to like 5 people, right? But the reality is that the institutions will always win, and you getting on your righteous horse to say I'm buying GameStop at the top and holding because it's going to screw over some investment manager, that's just unrealistic, right? BlackRock is the Fed. They're a $7 trillion asset manager. They control all of the Fed's open market facilities, like all of them, right? And when they sell 2 million shares of GameStop, they're taking profit, just like anybody else would. And they're managing the flows intelligently within their risk management permissions. And if you, as an individual retail trader or a group of retail traders on Wall Street Bets or whatever, get together and try to pump a stock, I don't really see that as any different than somebody on Twitter saying, "Hey, let's buy this penny stock and pump and dump it, and you know, make it happen so we make some quick money."
Yeah, and
But
then
at
go to
the end of the
jail.
day, Melvin Capital still has $5 billion under management. They're still backed by 3 major hedge funds that have 20 times the capital they do. And they're still going to be in operation. Yeah, they had a drawdown. They'll make it back on different strategies. It's really not a big deal.
Yeah, it's a small
Um,
scratch on the foot of an
right.
elephant, basically.
Exactly. It's a small scratch on the foot of an elephant. And there's a reason that a lot of the professional asset management community didn't really say anything and hasn't really said anything about the GameStop situation publicly, because they're all just kind of laughing. Haha, look at
Mm,
these guys who think they can stick it to us by,
yeah.
inducing a gamma squeeze on a stock, whatever. we still have more money than they do, and we're still going to win. And as long as their shitty brokerages sell us their trading data, then we're always going to win, right?
Yeah.
That's why I encourage people to not use Robinhood and to use a grown-up broker like E-Trade or Fidelity or Schwab, because they have liquidity, they have the clearinghouses that have money, and they have an institutional support structure that makes sure that at the very least you won't lose as hard as other people.
Yeah, great advice. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming on today. I think you answered every question and then some, just absolutely beautifully, very eloquent. So I really do appreciate it, Moses.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. And I know there were some questions that you sent me about my fund that I didn't get a chance to answer, but I'd be happy to come on again and talk more about what my company does specifically too.
Fantastic. Well, that would be very special if you'd like to do that. Absolutely. Well, yep. So, Bakri there, the legend, just posted your Patreon information.
Thank
so
you.
Good on you. And would love to have you back at some point. I'm sure we can tee up a time in the future. Yeah, have a great rest of your
Absolutely.
day. I really do
Thank you.
appreciate it once again. And
Thank you for having
thanks
me
very
on.
much. Not a
Of
problem.
course.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care,
All right,
guys.
well,
And if you have
talk to you
any
soon.
unanswered questions, sorry, if you have any unanswered questions, feel free to just post a comment in my general questions thread on my Patreon, and I'll get back to you after this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
Take
have
care.
a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.